feel like I'm not seeing myself on there. Okay, cool. Sorry. All right. Welcome back to the first, the last, the Nerdom, the podcast where we cover the first, the last, and everything in between across film, television, and pop culture. And once again, we're stepping into our favorite ongoing experiments, binge-worthy, question mark. The concept is simple. We pick a TV show or series that we're curious about, or finally getting around to watch it. And then we watch the first 3 episodes and then decide whether it earns the late night, just one more episode treatment, or if we tap out early, go to bed. This week, we're heading down under with the FX crime drama, Mr. Inbetween. Created by and starring Scott Ryan, the series follows Ray Shoesmith, a loving father, loyal friend, and professional hitman. It's a show that lives in the tension between domestic normalcy and sudden brutal violence. 1 minute you're watching an awkward small talk, or you're watching awkward small talk at a barbecue. The next, someone's digging a shallow grave. In the first 3 episodes, Mr. Inbetween establishes a tone that's equal parts dark comedy, grounded crime drama, and character study. It's stripped down, sharp, and surprisingly funny. But does that minimalist approach make it a perfect binge watch, or is it just better savored, maybe not as fast and as much? We'll be breaking down Ray as the lead of the show's pacing, its offbeat humor, and whether those early episodes hook us enough to keep going. So keep it calm, don't ask too many questions, and remember, sometimes the scariest guy in the room is the quiet one. This is Binge-worthy. This is the first, the last, the Nerdom. And this week, we're stepping into the world of Mr. Inbetween. Yes, we are. Good grief. And with that being said, Tom joins me. And Tom, do we have this thing on the website, or what is this internet thing called? What the hell is that thing called?
Nerdom.com.
Awesome.
And then we're also on YouTube. And you can watch our videos. We go live. And then we also have our regular videos and our shorts. I'm on Reddit, promoting your stuff under First Last Nerdom. So you might have seen me there, shilling our stuff on subreddits that will have me or not have me, or just kind of squeak in there. But if you want to see me promoting our stuff on a regular basis, I'm on X under First Last Nerdom as well, and I'll post our stuff as it goes live or is uploaded. And then you have some socials as well.
Yes, sir, I do. I too am on X. Should you wish to check me and Tom down, although we are also available on YouTube. There on the community tab, there's like a post tab there that we're also occasionally will sound off. We don't do it all too much, and of course, when we want to make something known, then we put it big and bright and wide on the thing. But this week, we're going now this binge-worthy show. So this one was my turn. And Tom said, "Hey, Mike, what do you want to watch?" And I have constantly seen this pop up. I never was familiar with this beforehand, but it was not too long ago. And I did not watch it when it was on. I only became aware of it after the fact. But it kept coming up in my YouTube shorts and some other things and different clips and this and that. I would get sucked into watching them. And then finally, after a while, I tracked it down and what the hell is this show? What is going on here? And I put it on the list, and I was happy that we could pull it out. I think it, I don't think it's the greatest kind of thing in the world ever, but it knows exactly what it is, and you get in there hard and fast and quick.
Yeah.
And then I'll kind of pull
says
back. It
what it is on the tin, as they say.
Yeah.
It's definitely an FX show. And then it could be a AMC show if it was a little bit darker and was on and was an hour long. But it being the kind of half-hour mark, I was kind of surprised when I loaded it up. I was expecting an hour-long episode, and when they were all half hours, I was like, oh, okay, I got the vibe. So it's a FX comedy show, which is more or less a drama that has funny elements to it. Like, I guess The Bear is considered a comedy, but from what I haven't watched that one either, but from what people say, it's more of a drama than it is a
That's what
comedy.
that's what I've
And
heard. Yeah, yeah, and no shade thrown at. I've also heard people, talk about it and high and give it good
yeah,
marks.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. Saying what it is it is what it is, but that's not like you're saying, that's not a bad thing per se. Like you immediately kind of know what it is. It's this, the Scott Ryan who plays the main guy. He writes. I don't think he directs, but he writes the episodes. So you could say it's a kind of a vanity project, but but he's the characters they're worse than all. He's not he doesn't come across as a suave, guy. He's just a guy that's trying to make his way, make a living, maybe on the wrong side of the law. But he's a hitman. He does little jobs here and there, and he's trying to be loyal to his friends and help out his friends. And sometimes that messes things up with his boss. You can kind of see. And he's also, he's not the one of the more interesting elements is that he's pretty sure as a intimidator hitman kind of guy. He's got that nailed down, but asking the lady out on as they're walking their
sure.
dogs, he's not, he kind of fumbles through that. He's not the most suave on those moments. So it's kind of that contradiction of being good at your job, but maybe not, that doesn't translate into your love life.
Yeah, yeah, he's this professional hitman that you completely lose that sometimes, or he loses track of that. Like
Mhm,
he's very confident and very self assured when he's in his element, and then when
mhm,
he's outside of probably his dad mode. When he's in dad mode, he knows what to do, what to say, how to act,
mhm.
or that kind of thing, or at least he knows what looks right and what doesn't look right, which you kind of find out a little bit later on. But at least in some of the clips, the famous clips that brought me in on it was this thing that I saw completely out of order in the thing of like, anyway, but Australian, there is a pretty good following on this show. I like it because it is good for what it is, and then it's short too, right? So I also
Mhm.
when I got into it, I was also expecting, oh, this is going to be an hour long show. No, it's not. Although
Mhm.
sometimes you wish some were. It doesn't do that. It doesn't give you any more than that. And I think because of that, because it's so tight, I would rather see a show like this that knows when to cap it, at whatever. And of course, it never really made its mark on FX like other shows had a chance. Like you had Sons of Anarchy, and then later on, you even had some pretty good success with something called The Mayans MC, which was also kind of like another thing. This is kind of like where you're getting the spinoff of the spinoff of the show. But yeah, but still, it it's pretty good ride. It's not complicated at all. And it's a little bit enduring with Scott Ryan. I mean, he's kind of kind of an Australian, badass. Essentially, is you also get that in heaps, too. And he's also not kind of like a dick bag either. I mean, he's definitely not. He's not soft and cuddly. And he does have you could probably call him a little bit of a, he does have an asshole-ish side. But he's also a dad. He's a friend and a brother. And yeah, that's why it's kind of like where the dark comedy, crime drama kind of comes in for the South Australian, kind of thing. Uh, but anyway, I'll throw it back to you. Did you have any? Had you ever seen this before? Heard about it in passing, or did it kind of fall between
um
the couch cushions like it did for me?
yeah, yeah, I saw like the commercial here and there for it. it just looked like something I'd seen before. And yeah, the only thing I could say, well, as far as you know, detracting, I guess, is that it's kind of that been there, done that, kind of vibe to it. It doesn't. There's not something that jumps out at you, that grabs you, that makes you want to watch this. And I think that's you just kind of have to sit down and actually watch an episode to see whether or not
Right.
you vibe with it. But yeah, there's not an element, a wow factor that draws you immediately in. The Scott Ryan, he's yeah, he doesn't have the looks going for him. So
Right.
you kind of have to have something else that kind of pulls you in. And once you're there, it's enjoyable. But yeah, it was probably at a time where I was kind of backing away from investing in TV shows. That is it's a pretty big commitment, and it comes across when you see the previews. It comes across as like an hour long show. So yeah, like you, I was kind of surprised when it wasn't. And I appreciate shows now that respects your time.
Mhm.
That they're not an hour just to be an hour. Shows that kind of drag. I don't know. I don't have the patience for it anymore. That was one of the things that was so refreshing about that new George R. Martin show, A Night in the Seven Kingdoms, because those were between 30 and 40-minute episodes, and
They really fed
they
us.
they
Yeah.
they got in and out without, one of those episodes was like it was amazing, and it was only we thought it was an 8 episode season, but it actually was a 6 episode
Yeah,
season. So it was
yeah, I
so
saw the yeah,
yeah.
I saw the ones, wrapping up the I was like, "Oh my god, it's over already." That's right. Yeah, because you kinda I don't know about you, but I don't have infinite time, and sometimes I kinda have to let them pool up, and then go and dip the pool and take a dip in the pool, have a bench a binge watch, but
Yeah.
just kinda echoing that to this is Scott Ryan, okay? This is him. This is his Ray Shoesmith character. He wrote this one all himself. This is a whole 100% him. So if you don't vibe with him, if what he's doing doesn't work for you, you could
Mhm.
probably know that that's how the rest of it's going to go. Unless it's just kind of like there has to be kind of an enduring thing of like, yeah, this guy's kind of a jerk, or I don't like him. I just don't like him, but I'm going to keep watching him. This is the same concept as Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Fleabag, or Donald Glover with Atlanta. Like where it's solely them. It's like, so if you like them or you don't like them, you're not gonna, it's not gonna get. There's no plan B. But
Yeah.
with that though, when you do go with it though, him as Ray Shoesmith, the hitman enforcer, the debt collector, the father of, you know, uh, eventual boyfriend. We see that he's a human, full, complete human, in his
Mhm.
little slice of life, like where you kind of come in on this side, and then you kind of also see him talking about, um, you know, uh, he's very direct in how he thinks and feels and treats the world and operates off of his very basic code of respect, essentially. Not like Bushido, you know,
Yeah.
honor kind of thing. Just, you know, hey, if I'm with my daughter and we're having ice cream, whatever, or whatever, just a thing. Yeah. Probably be good to just leave them alone or not not start something. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'll throw it back to you and then I'll tee us up for the first episode. And then we can
But
get
yeah,
rolling.
the one of the more interesting things about the show is that in the say if you're watching, say you mentioned Sons of Anarchy, or maybe let's throw in Breaking Bad. If you're watching an episode of Breaking Bad, this the Ray character, he would have been like a minor character in an
Mhm.
episode. He'd be the hitman that they hire for something. That he's only in it for about a couple of minutes, and he's sort of like he would be like your stereotypical hitman, um, and one dimensional kind of character. But the interesting thing about this show is you're being exposed to his life, and if you took that 2-minute character from Breaking Bad, you'd make assumptions about this guy. You wouldn't imagine him having a loving family life. You know, you would think maybe he's kind of hot headed or is that kind of sleazy, dark person throughout his whole life. Whereas you learn that he's not he's not the best father in the world, but he's trying and he's trying to have a loving relationship with his daughter. And he brings her over to his brother's house, who's I guess I don't know exactly what's wrong with his brother, but he's not 100%. But yeah, you get the tender side of of Ray, or as tender as he gets. And there's the cute little thing with her having the swear, making people pay for swearing, like a swear jar, but there's no jar. It's just you just got to pay up.
Right, right, right.
But yeah, so I mean, there's those elements that makes it endearing, and so that it kind of highlights and kind of clashes with when he's got he grabs the guy and has him dig his own grave. You're like, oh, okay. Wow. uh, but
Well,
you,
yeah.
you want to backtrack and get into the first episode.
What? Well, I was gonna say he within the first episode, you see how like he is, and there's kind of play a point in it. He's the competent one. He's the most competent person around, and he's not messing around. He's in. He's doing what he needs to do, and then going out. He's in and out. But but there's also a little bit of levity too, and where you kind of do see his heart a little bit with the first one. It's just funny, how and when he takes a beating and for who. Really kind of tells you that kind of guy he is too. But with the PP tapes, I don't want to give away too much, but it does kind of set up kind of throws it sets up it sets up kind of like what to expect. And you're right, yeah. You do see kind of that tenderness of him, and it does play a part a little bit later on as the story unfolds, and we see, okay, oh, he's violent, and he can also communicate effectively with other human beings, so he's not a complete monster. As a matter of fact, he's not a monster. He just has to play a monster. It's almost like in a weird way, because there is a little bit of humor and levity in there. Not quite the levity that you would expect, but there is some. Do you remember Monsters Inc? And the concept of a monster kind of going into
Yeah.
that's be the job. That's kind of like, in a way, it's a different spin on that in a way. But that's a more irrelevant, silly example. But yeah, what'd you think of? Did you have any favorites? And we don't really have to go into every dissect the first three episodes, but um,
Right.
like, did one click more for you than others? Like, I like this. I appreciate, the more I see this, the more I appreciate, kind of going back to that time, respect your time. I like
Mhm.
things that are tight, that they want you want to see more. So obviously this is a yes in my book for binge-worthy, because it can pull you in, and then it's almost not quite as in and out as like a homicide. I think
Mhm.
that's a little bit more cut and dry for like what you're getting in and out for, like as episodic nature. And this is kind of like, it leaves it a little bit open ended, because you're not quite sure what to expect. You're still breathing with these characters. But I found, in my opinion, like I didn't necessarily love one episode above another, although I did really appreciate the hard break into his world. I thought that worked very well for an episode in general as an introductory thing. But
Yeah.
I think another reason why this didn't kind of pop is because Scott Ryan, he is a good actor, but he doesn't have necessarily like great looks. He doesn't have anything
Mhm.
remarkable about him that stands out as a feature, as a thing. And
Mhm.
also, that's a good point too, because most of the actors and actresses that you see in this, and as the series progresses, if we do end up doing more or not, but anyway, as the things progress, you see these people you have seen before, but you can't quite put your finger on them or know who they are per se. Whereas like if it's a famous person, it just kind of pulls you out of the thing, or it can anyway. So that's another
Yeah.
thing. It's kind of like a sleeper thing, but you can see why it's a very competent show, and it does hook you in with the aesthetics of a tough guy. But I can see like where there is a more substance there.
Mhm.
Anyway, I'll throw it back to you. Yeah, for
Yeah,
comment.
and it was surprising. Well, it is surprising in the fact that yeah, there were short episodes, but also the fact that it was Australian. It looked like an American show. There wasn't anything distinctly Australian except when they started to talk. You're like, oh, and you know, Australia. I will say the Australian accent is one of the more funnier accents. You know, it's I think New Zealand has the best funniest accent, but
Mm.
you know, the runner up is Australian. So you know, if you're Australian and you have an Australian show, it's going to be a little bit funny, just because the accents. So it's kind of interesting. You know, you have Australian Hitman. It's not your stereotypical Australian show. But yeah, each episodes had its own kind of unique flavor to them. Like I think the third episode had the Russian guy getting robbed, and that one sort of had it was we talk about bottle episodes. That one was probably a little bit of a bottle episode, although they do he starts it off shopping with his girlfriend, I think. And her birthday was coming up or something. But yeah,
Yeah,
there's some there I think the third one was probably the most outright funny, darkly funny episode. There was a lot of sight gags and different things with the guy robbing the other guy. There was just stuff that's kind of baked into it, and like you said, these people aren't recognizable as far as you've seen them before, so it's a little bit more believable. You kind of get lost in the characters as opposed to, oh, it's that guy.
right.
And then I guess the one show that I could probably compare it to, although the tone of it was way different, is Barry, of course,
That's what
on HBO.
That's what I yeah, that's what that came up to in my research as well, like, as a recommendation I kept seeing. But, I was gonna say from episode 1, where you had the balcony scene and you see what Ray does, like, where is that? Like, by the 3rd, episode, you see with the PP guy scene, and I'll just kinda leave it there, um, who Ray is. Like that's what I was getting to, alluding to before.
Mhm.
But and there's a gap between those two things, between the professional who throws people off the buildings, and the friend, the best friend, who accepts being called something that he maybe doesn't want to be, but he takes that hit. He takes one for the team. But that is the show.
Mhm.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you find that entertaining between those two worlds, then but you don't really like Scott Ryan, or you just, I don't know, maybe just doesn't work for you. But between those two spots, if you stick around long enough, there's probably something there for you that you
Mhm.
will see and like. That all people, I think, which is I think even more surprising. Which is
Yeah, and
I
I think with
yeah, go ahead.
Barry, he's definitely a sociopath. There's something deeply wrong with that character. Whereas
Right.
this one, Ray
Psychopath.
is a flawed human being, but he does have a heart and he does have a conscience that is at war at times with who has to be in his day job, so to speak, and reconciling that with his family life and who he is as a person. And I like the fact that it's not glamorous. You know, he's not living above his means. It looks like you know, he's just got a it seems like he has a regular job. He's not like you know, flush with money. But yeah, these people are kind of lived in. They you know, there's not like a the places that they live in looks lived in. It doesn't look like a little set or whatever. You know, it's not like the friend's house, apartment that everything looks immaculate and things are this is a lived in world with all that is entailed in that, which I think FX does a good job with that. Like I said, it definitely looks like an FX show. It's got
Yeah.
that sheen and and quality to it.
That
Uh,
energy, like,
mm,
kinda yeah, I was gonna say too, in the third episode too, you really get to know, Justin, Rosniak, who I just kinda put down there, before, but he plays Gary, and, he's the most lovably incompetent friend. And, you know, he's allowed to make every, you know, possible wrong decision at maximum volume. You get used to his kind of chicanery, I guess. He's like half puppy and half natural disaster, and you can see the disaster come anyway. But it plays, it's enduring. It kind of gives it a lot more of the human side, just like Scott Ryan. Yeah, you're right. Barry, from what I understand, is a lot more heavier than this. But I was just gonna say, yeah, this is a win in my book. If you're into that mood or that mode, maybe Barry is a little bit more of your angle, and it certainly is good. I look forward to maybe one day we'll cover it here on the binge-worthy question mark show. But I think I don't know if you want to get into a report card or not, but I have more A's than I do C's or B's than anything else for me.
yeah, it's an enjoyable show. There's not anything uh, deeply wrong or anything that I would point out that had I had issues with. But yeah, I mean it's a FX show. You kind of know if that's your vibe or not already, for the most part, unless you're completely new to FX and Hulu and all that they have to offer. But it fits in nicely with their other offerings for FX. You know, I could see you watching an episode of Fargo and then flipping over and watching an episode of Mr. Inbetween. It's not completely off base. But yeah, like I said, it says what it is on the tin. Um, it's either your deal or it's not. But yeah, an enjoyable show. I think, like I said, there's kind of there was kind of a glut of these shows. You know, say maybe 10 years ago, if it came out then, I'd be all over it. But I've kind of went through different shows like this.
Please. Yeah.
So it's not as shiny and new as what it would have been if it came out 10 years ago. But it is, which I guess it did come out almost 10 years ago. So maybe I'm
Almost.
just,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah. So yeah. So maybe it would have been, maybe it would have hit differently. But yeah, it's a enjoyable show. You could do far worse.
Yeah.
Choosing something else to binge watch. So yeah, it is binge worthy. Like I said, the fact that it's only 20 odd minutes an episode, you've got a couple of them under your belt before you know you've watched watched one. So it's definitely yeah, this is definitely something that you could check out. I think 8.7 maybe a little high, but that just probably shows you those people that enjoy it really enjoy it. So
Oh yeah. Well, and I think it's even higher on the Rotten Tomatoes one. I whatever. It people who like it really like it. Whether that it bears out, I like it because it's like Tom said, it respects your time. You know how to write a tight character, and that comes through. This guy worked on this character forever, and he perfected it, and he wrote everything, and you could see it. So you know, I also agree with Tom. And it is kind of, it comes from a different era. I think it comes from a different era, in a good way, and not kind of like a tired, boring way. But
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
There's not a sassy woman that one
well,
ups him every other turn and belittles him. It's not one of those shows.
no,
It's
no,
definitely a guy show.
yeah,
That,
yeah, and it's definitely something beyond, you know, a motorcycle club, you know, kind of thing. But that
yeah.
was like a hardcore thing for a minute. But anyway,
Yeah, there's it kind of tones down the testosterone, but not to the point where you have the sassy woman.
Right.
one upping him.
Right. Yeah. Indeed. Indeed. Well, I think we're coming up to the end. Anything else? I think we're good.
I think we're good as well. And if you guys have a suggestion for binge worthy, definitely let us know what you're currently binging and why we should check it out. And we might.
Absolutely. I've been Mike.
And I'm telling, stay in between.